Hey everyone, what's going on? Today is Monday, February 24th, 2014. Last night, obviously was Sunday night. We had our Walking Dead episode. Phenomenal as always. It was the 11th episode of Season 4, titled Claimed. Great episode. Uh, Mainly centered around two of our groups, Rick, Michonne, and Carl in their little, their home. And then Tara and Glenn and their new appointed friends, so to speak, that we met last week. I'll get to that in a minute. And man, just great episode. We met three new characters this week, guys. Abraham Ford, he was a sergeant pre-apocalypse, basically in the army, played by Michael Cutlitz, phenomenal actor here. Loved his stuff in Southland, absolutely incredible, and now he's on Walking Dead, everyone. Um, he took Tara and Glenn kind of onto his truck convoy to get them out of harm's way. And, we're not sure where they're going. They're just on the road for hours on end. And we see he is very fun to kill zombies with. It's great. And Glenn, he's still unconscious, so he actually doesn't know where he is right now. Um, then on the other side, we have Michonne finally living at home with Carl and Rick. We see this nice, very soft side of Michonne, different than anything else. Honestly, I like Michonne better as a badass, just wielding a sword. Seeing her smile and laugh kind of threw me off a bit. I'm not gonna lie. Um, we saw Michonne in like casual clothing too, and eating breakfast with Carl. Nice sentimental moment between them two, though. So that was very nice. So Carl and Michonne actually go out looking for supplies, and Rick stays home actually to rest up. He's still pretty beat up from his fist fight with the governor a couple episodes back. And as Carl and Michonne are gone, they notice, or Michonne notices that Carl obviously is changed after what happened in the prison. And Michonne takes on a different role now these days. Kind of Carl's best friend now. Judith is apparently dead to them, and he doesn't have Lori anymore, so he needs a friend, and Rick can't do that anymore. And we see this great thing with everyone knows, like, the crazy spray cheese that's in a can that just keeps on coming up in the episode, and it's hilarious. um, so when Rick is at home, turns out he actually wakes up, and we think it's just a dream, but it's actually some intruders that came into the house while he was sleeping. And it's actually pretty intense through the whole entire time. But back with Tara and Glenn. Glenn wakes up. He's, pissed off. Where the hell am I? And he gets off the truck, and we're also introduced to two other characters that are in Abraham Ford's group. We meet Eugene Porter. He's a doctor played by Josh McDermott. Don't know anything about him, but he seems like a casual actor. His acting in Walking Dead so far is very intriguing. And then we have Christian Serratos. She plays Rosita Espinosa, or Espinosa. Sorry. Very hardcore badass girl. She's in this kind of army sexy girl getup almost. It's interesting. And while Glenn and Abraham have this small fist fight, Abraham, he tells Glenn, your wife's probably dead, so there's no need for you to die for nothing. Um, so they have their little fist fight, and we see a whole cornfield of walkers come after um, Eugene Porter, and we see that Eugene, he's not a fighter. He really isn't. Um, and he starts shooting off, this M16, and while trying to kill these walkers, he actually shoots the gas tank, puts some bullet holes in it, and now they're without a truck, so they're basically screwed. And in this result, Abraham, Rosita, and Eugene decide to follow Glenn back to try and find Maggie and the others. And it's interesting. We finally see a character that's actually got like motive for where he is going. You know, Rick and everyone else's group, they're just running, trying to survive. With Abraham and his group, they have a directive. They have a mission. I'm not going to tell you it. It's a surprise, but it's pretty epic. I think Eugene has got to do with something what happened in CDC back in season 1. Just, just my skeptical about it. That's all, because he's a doctor, and it's got to do with the apocalypse. That's all. Um, Back with Michonne and Carl on a supply run, they find this house, and we finally learn of Michonne's son and what his name was. His name was Andre Anthony, and Carl asks all these questions and everything. They have this nice little game throughout the house. Ask me one question per room, but after we clear it, it was a nice little game for them because she's kind of like the best friend role now. It's nice. Back in their house, Rick is trying to escape, but in doing so, two of these intruders, they're kind of like a wild wolf pack kind of guys, very rugged, and two of these guys are fighting over, the biggest bed to be, to stay in, and one of the guys kills the other. We think he's dead. Who knows? I'll get to that in a minute. And there's a stare down intensity between Rick and the guy that's about to be killed, because Rick is actually hiding under the bed. It's absolutely crazy, and it's honestly one of my favorite moments of the whole entire episode. So yeah, after that, Rick tries to escape, and in doing so, he actually meets back up with Michonne and Carl, who almost end up in the line of fire of these intruders. Basically, towards the end of the episode, Michonne, Rick, and Carl, they've run out of supplies because most of their stuff was back at the house, so that kind of cuts their portions in half almost. But they're on train tracks. They seem like they're the same train tracks we saw last week with Tyrese and the girls, and they see this this train supply truck, whatever, and it's got a banner that basically says, sanctuary here, and I think it's the same thing we saw last week, where Tyrese finds a map and it says, sanctuary at Terminus. So there could be everyone could meet up, but accidentally. So who knows? The episode was absolutely phenomenal. Just great. Next week is episode 12. We're almost done, guys. 4 episodes left. Next week is called Still. We're still following Daryl and Beth. They're still running around trying to find safety. So that's about it for me, and we'll see you all later.